This is former All-Pro Dolphins lineman Richmond Webb, and you're listening to The Grueling Truth.
Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Pick'em Show. We are at the Divisional Playoff Round. Remember, The Grueling Truth and the NFL Pick'em Show is brought to you by Gridiron Mo, an interactive football app where you get to call what the offense or defense should do during a live NFL game and see what all other fans have called also. So check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. I'm your host, as always, Mike Goodpaster. And we're to the part of the show where everybody knows the routine if you listen every week. The biggest loser of this week, once again, at 1-3, was Oz Davis. Oz, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm okay. I thought, to all these people who are complaining about 2016 being a crummy year, 2017 sucks. 2017 sucks.
Did somebody just play a calliope on the phone?
Yeah.
What was that?
It was a New Year's Eve horn.
All right, and next up we got somebody that was the biggest loser with Oz. Actually, he was worse than Oz because he wasn't here last week. He was ice fishing. Help us welcome former Buccaneer and Bronco, Mark Cooper, to the show.
Oh, now, is that the way to introduce the star of the show?
How about it?
We all thought Oz was the star of the show since he made so many stupid predictions.
Oh, Oz, I'm sorry. Okay,
Coop
the second star of the show.
Right.
You were the star of the show when the Broncos were really good, Coop.
Well, how about the Bucks? Well, never mind.
And next up, we had Charlie Boots, the Raiders fan, who does the Raiders Life podcast, was 1-3, so he was as big a loser as Oz. Next up, since we're on the loser train, we got Matt Andruscavage, who was 2-2 last week. How you doing, Matt?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm still in stunned silence and doubt that I actually must have picked the Raiders because I don't remember doing it. I'm blown away. I'm blown away because that's a terrible, terrible pick.
I tried to tell all of you. That's why I went on a 10-minute rant about how sucky Connor Cook was last week.
But literally, I'm Saturday afternoon. I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, the Texans are bad, but at least I wasn't stupid enough to take Oakland. So I was shocked to find out I picked Oakland.
Yeah, well, that's why I was so excited when I called you to rub it in and you didn't realize it. All right.
I was like, what are you talking about?
From here on out, we're just introducing winners on the show, which would be Big Ed Cohen from the Dallas Cowboy Big Star Show. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing well. Not much excitement in this wild card round, but I'm expecting a really riveting weekend this weekend, fellas.
All right, and next up we have another winner, Brian Schmidt, who was 3-1 and tied for first. How you doing, Schmitty?
I am doing good, ready to go. A little bit of playoff football. Steelers going to end up with New England, and then we'll have to sit here and talk for 20 minutes why I'm picking Pittsburgh over New England. But
well, you told us all year that you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know, but times have changed, and I think it's, I think if Pittsburgh can get through this game and not be stupid enough to leave Ben out there to go ahead and get hurt before the game ends, I think we got a shot.
All right, and next up would be the guy who won the show last week at 3-1 because he takes all tiebreakers. That would be me. But let's go ahead, and we'll start off with Coop. Coop, what was your big takeaway from this last week?
Well, you know what? It was kind of interesting. I had no hope for Oakland, to be perfectly honest with you. And, Pittsburgh, again, doing what they always do at this time of the year is win football games. So, Big Ben, the running game, you name it, they were dominant. So I'm not as optimistic this week with Kansas City coming in with that big defense and those outside rushers. So it's going to make for an interesting game.
All right, now we'll go to Brian. You brought it up a little bit. Why in the hell does every NFL team leave their starting quarterback in when they're up by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter?
I have no idea, but it's absolutely the dumbest thing ever. And been interesting how the media has talked about it, and interesting how especially the media around Pittsburgh has talked about it.
Just send this stuff to them.
Just the general, who is really running this team? Is Ben running this team, or is Tomlin running this team? So it's been some very interesting conversation.
Well, if Ben's running a team, does that mean Mike Tomlin's the head cheerleader?
The funny part is, for me, is I think that in terms of Tomlin, I think sometimes he just has the mindset that, well, nothing possible is going to happen. And I don't know, but, in case you've been around, this kind of thing has happened more than once. So it's just very peculiar to me.
Oh, yeah. All right, we'll go next to Ed. Ed, what was your big takeaway this week?
I think that the dead weight of the playoffs was eliminated this past week. I think this week we got a bunch of heavyweight bouts on our hands, and just looks like a lot of teams like Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is just absolutely lighting it up, and they're putting it all together at the right time. They're a really dangerous team going here out.
All right, Matt.
To me, as I look at the teams that won their wild card game, I start to think, okay, which one of these wild card teams could go? Because I think all of the teams that had a bye could definitely win it all. Green Bay has a lot of magic right now. Aaron Rodgers playing just great football. But to me, the team that, if I'm going to pick a team that was a wild card winner that could go all the way, potentially it would be Pittsburgh. I just love watching Le'Veon Bell play, and Antonio Brown. It's almost unfair to have both of those guys on the same team. That said, what is going on with Ben Roethlisberger? Is he just going to fight through this? Is this severe? But I thought Pittsburgh they just look great, and I think they're going to win against the Chiefs.
Well, why do we even have you on the show if you're going to pick before we get to the picks? All right.
but is he? What's going on with that ankle?
All right. Well,
from everything out of Pittsburgh,
Oz being able to talk. But Schmidt, did you talk to Big Ben's doctor today?
Well, fortunately, having a few people that are in the know, they guess right now he's not as. It's more precautionary. It's nothing major is what's coming out of Pittsburgh right now. But I should know more tomorrow when I get to talk to my co-host on Steeler Weekly.
Dwight Stone. All right. We'll plug that show in a little bit. Oz, I guess we got to go to you.
I guess. I was just going to say that in sports, I guess 2016 was the year of getting the monkey off the back, but I guess that's not going to happen this year. I was sad to see in one weekend the elimination of the plucky Detroit Lions, the redemption Oakland Raiders, and the New York Giants, who were threatening to set up Patriots-Giants Part 3. So I was sad to see all three of those teams go. And I think the way it's being paid for the Patriots, I got to say.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to this week. Coop, Houston at New England.
It's a blowout, baby. New England, 8:15 p.m. game. It'll be chilly. Houston boys will be froze out. Done.
Yeah, aren't they supposed to give us the best game in prime time on Saturday night?
You would think.
But they obviously didn't. But, all right, Schmitty, you picking the upset?
This is another bye week for New England. I mean, they get 2 bye weeks in the playoffs.
Well, it's a bye week, but the thing is this. Jadeveon Clowney's pretty good, and if he was to get a hold of Tom Brady, he could change a lot of things.
Yeah, it could, but...
They're still going to lose the game, but, it could change things for Pittsburgh or Kansas City.
It's not going to happen. New England's going to win this. I don't think it's really going to be close.
All right, Ed?
Yeah, no surprise here. I'm going New England. The opening line was like 16.5. I think that Houston has a lot of great pieces, and I think that the future is certainly bright, but, that team's not – they're not on the same level with the New England Patriots right now.
All right, now we will go to the man that loves to pick the upsets, Oz.
No way.
Come on. I was thinking you were going to pick them.
I may be crazy, but I'm not insane. right? Okay, so I mean, basically, New England beat this team 27-0 in Week 3, and now they have Tom Brady and Michael Floyd. By the way, I was really flip about my takeaway from last week, but here's one of my takeaways from last week. Michael Floyd is an awesome late-season addition, and again, just shows how the Patriots are ahead of the curve on some of these guys, and ahead of the rest of the league. Yeah, Patriots are going to win this in a blowout.
All right, Matt. Houston at New England. Remember, the Houston Oilers went to New England and won in 1978, like 34-10, and they were underdogs.
It's a great point. I hadn't considered that as I was going into my analysis, but I tell you, New England's defense, I think, is good enough to win this game by itself. I don't think the Texans are going to be able to run the ball very well, and I just see two big costly turnovers. And on the other side of the ball, I'm not worried about New England's offensive line. I go back to from 2015 all the way back to 2007. It's always been on paper a weakness, but every time, even in the games that they have lost, yeah, there have been sacks, but the Patriots are always within striking distance to win the game if they don't outright win it. To me, it's not going to be a liability. I'm not worried about what Jadeveon Clowney's going to do. I think Belichick will out-scheme them, and the Patriots will absolutely blow them away.
Well, I believe this. I believe it did cost them last year against Denver. Even though
but they were still. It was only by 2 points. It was 2 points.
But they
were
win
still
the game if they're blocking. I mean, if I remember right, Brady got the hell beat out of him the whole game.
Yeah, but to me, it's not like it. It didn't completely just throw them out of the game. They were still within 2 points.
I still think it's the reason they lost the game, but I could be wrong. This is gonna be like when Tim Tebow took the Denver Broncos to New England. This is gonna be over quick. I'm taking New England. Next game, Seattle at Arizona. I'll pick it first. Arizona. Why did I say Arizona? Atlanta.
Arizona. No, the Rams.
I know, because all you idiots picked Arizona to make the playoffs. But I'm going to take Atlanta in this game. I like Atlanta. Seattle likes to run the ball. Atlanta, the best part of their defense is probably stopping a run. They gave up less than 100 yards a game this year. And my big question is, are they going to put Richard Sherman one-on-one with Julio Jones? They did it with Brandon Marshall earlier in the year and took him away. Or are they going to try to double Jones? I think they're going to try to put Sherman on him one-on-one. I just think Matt Ryan's too good. I think they've got a great running game with Freeman and Coleman. I'm going with Atlanta. Coop?
I'm with you, Mike. I think Atlanta's a good football team this year. They're the surprise, like I've been saying all year. And that offensive line is such a good offensive line. I'm going with with the best offensive line in this game, and that's Atlanta, and they're at home.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. If this game was in Seattle, it might change my outlook, but Matt Ryan and the weapons he has, and how well they run the ball, as well as really the whole offense is just very machine-like, and I just think that in the end, I mean, there's too many weapons, and that Atlanta crowd, when you think back to the years where Atlanta's been in the playoffs, especially in that dome, it gets loud in there, so I think there's going to be a lot there for them to be excited about. So it's going to be a big game, and I just don't see Seattle being able to win this.
All right, Oz?
Okay, I got some interesting stuff on this. First of all, here's the knock against Seattle. Basically, they're 3-3 in their last 6 games. The teams that they've beaten, that's 3-3 in the regular season. They're actually 4-3 in the last 7 games. But the teams that they've beaten were the Rams, the 49ers, the Panthers, and last week the Lions. So I've just been waiting for them to flip the switch all season, and they haven't done it. But here's some interesting stuff on the Falcons, and here's a good case for Ryan to be MVP, is that I found this weird stat where the Falcons score 3.25 points per drive, okay? Every time they touch the ball, they're scoring a field goal. The next nearest, I think, is 0.6 lower. That's the Packers. So in other words, just by dint of how they run their offense, they're scoring 5 to 7 points against the second highest scoring team in the league. That's a lot of points. They're going to put up the points. Also, I did want to point this out. Here's another weird stat for you. Julio Jones, in the 5 games that the Falcons have lost, has averaged 125 yards, and he scored 4 touchdowns in those 5 games. It doesn't matter what they do with Jones. If the Falcons score enough points, they're not going to need him to do well and win. I've got the Falcons winning this game.
All right, Ed?
Yeah, I got the Falcons too. I think, you guys pretty much all hit it on the head. I think the offense is just so high-powered. And, Seattle's a capable team. Someone said it if they were at home. I think maybe it'd be a different story. I think this Atlanta Falcon team is ready to make a push for the next level.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, if this was in Seattle, I think this would be a much more interesting scenario. That isn't to say that Seattle isn't going to have their chances. But to me, Vic Beasley and that defense are going to really cause problems for the offensive line. I think Thomas Rawls will be limited in how much he's going to be able to run, and that's going to make things much harder for Russell Wilson. Atlanta offensively, you guys already talked about it. The thing about them, I like that they're healthy. Having Kevin Coleman in the lineup with what's his name, Devontae Freeman, is just such a great 1-2 punch. And then they've got Gabriel, they've got Mohamed Sanu, Julio Jones, and I know they got a good tight end over there. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head. Hooper or something like that, Hopper. But they just have so many weapons over there that I think Seattle's going to have trouble because without Earl Thomas, that's why I think they've struggled so much in these last few games. He really is the guy that makes that defense go. His presence not being there is really, really missed. I think Atlanta is gonna find a way to win this game, but that isn't to say that Seattle won't have their chances, and it wouldn't completely stun me if they won, but I'm going Atlanta.
All right, next game, Pittsburgh at Kansas City. Brian, do I even have to ask?
You don't have to ask. Pittsburgh in this one, I think it's going to be a good game. And I'll tell you this game, and we will talk about this more tomorrow in Steelers Weekly, is this game concerns me and for a couple of reasons. One is Pittsburgh has historically not played well in Kansas City. That's the first thing. Second thing, for all the people that give Andy Reid crap, generally speaking, if you look when you give him 2 weeks to game plan somebody, generally, especially his time in Kansas City, they played very well.
I saw real quick, Schmidt. I think I saw a stat where he was like 16-3 coming off bye week. 16-3 or 19-3.
Yes. So that concerns me. But right now, Pittsburgh offensively, defensively, I was very, very happy with the way they played defensively, and not just Miami, yes, had a backup quarterback, but I'll tell you this as a sidebar, I would take Moore as my backup quarterback over obviously Landry Jones. Moore is a tough son of a gun, but I like the way they're playing defensively. Still, there are certain things that concern me, but I just think right now Pittsburgh and Ben and that the Killer Bees, I mean they're just playing at a high level, and the offensive line's playing real well. I just don't feel like Kansas City is going to be able to score enough to win this game.
All right, Coop.
Yeah, you know what? Even though it's being played in Kansas City, the Steelers beat them up pretty bad in like week 4. I think it was 43-14 or something like that. And I mean, they've got a lot of weapons in Kansas City. They play well at home. But the Steelers do nothing but win this time of the year. Big Ben's on fire. They beat the Dolphins up pretty good. I initially was leaning towards the Chiefs, but just the way that the Pittsburgh's played in the last number of weeks, I'm going with the Steelers.
All right, I'm going with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will win the game. I think they're the better coach team. I think defensively, I think they're the better team. You got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. The Steelers don't always defend the tight ends the greatest. I'm going to go with Kansas City. It's just a gut feeling. I think Kansas City is going to win the game. Matt?
No, I'm not. I think it's a really tough game. I think there's merit to what you're saying, though. Tyreek Hill is a problem. If you're the Steelers, Tyreek Hill, you can't let him make a big play on you. And I do think Travis Kelce is an issue. To me, though, when you watch with Alex Smith, is someone who has watched Alex Smith his whole career pretty closely. Alex Smith thrives with a great defense and a great running game. He's got a very good defense. They don't have a real good run game, unless it's Tyreek Hill making some major play out of the backfield or something like that. I just think that more is going to be asked of Alex Smith, and I don't think they've got the weapons on the outside to be able to do this. And Pittsburgh's a very opportunistic defense. I see them getting a turnover in this game to seal it, and I don't see how Kansas City is going to be able to slow that offense down. There's so many places to go with the ball from Roethlisberger. I just think there's too many weapons on this team. I think they're going to put up somewhere along the lines of 31 to 35 points. I don't think Kansas City can compete with that. But wouldn't shock me if Kansas City were to come away with this. They'd have to get into turnovers and probably one or two really big plays from Tyreek Hill. I think that's possible. But I think all in all, Kansas City finds a way to win this. Pittsburgh finds a way to win this.
That's what got you in trouble last week, man.
No, I remember Pittsburgh. I said Pittsburgh.
All right. Ed, do you want to be wrong like everybody else, or are you going to go on the right ship?
Oh, man, this game is, to me, the toughest game to pick. I can see this one going either way. I mean, you look at, both teams, have high-powered weapons. I mean, like you guys have been saying, Tyreek Hill, I mean, this is a home run hitter, can score in various ways. Really major contributor to my late season push in fantasy football. I know you don't like talking about that, but I'm going with the Steelers. I'm going with Big Ben over Alex Smith. I'm going with the weapons in Pittsburgh. I mean, we're talking game changers, absolute, consistent game changers. I got to go with the Steelers here.
All right, Oz?
Nope. Sorry. All you guys except Mike are wrong. Here's the deal. How does Kansas City...
Hey,
Sorry,
you all need to respect Oz. Go ahead, Oz.
Thank you, Mike. Mike,
Okay,
help me out here. Mike. How has Kansas City won so many games this year? What are they dominating in this year? Tell them.
Magic tricks.
No. Turnovers.
You would think it is the way everybody picks the game, because everybody nationally does too. They cause turnovers. Ben Roethlisberger will turn the ball over. And he's playing with a bad foot, and no matter what they say, they wouldn't have brought it up if there was nothing wrong.
Now, look, Roethlisberger injury or not aside, here's the deal, okay? This is a team that's number one in the league in interception. They're number one in the league in fumble recoveries, okay? They're number one, obviously, in turnover differential. Roethlisberger, despite the fact that the Steelers seem to be playing pretty well, has thrown 8 picks in the last 5 games. He's thrown 8 touchdown passes in the last 5 games. Kansas City is going to exploit these turnovers enough to win this game. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell is going to get his yards. I mean, Kansas City is what? I've got it here. There's something like 20th against the run. Okay, so Le'Veon Bell will get his yards. Le'Veon Bell will get a couple of touchdowns if anybody's playing daily fantasy. But Kansas City is going to win this game. They're going to exploit the turnovers. Ben has not looked good this past month.
All right, Oz, since you made such a good pick on that game, Green Bay and Dallas.
Well, the Aaron Rodgers dragging the team to the final story was fun, but I think it's over. They had an interesting game plan in this game last week where they literally did not run the ball for the first 28 and a half minutes of the first half before finally giving it to Montgomery. But I'll tell you what, Montgomery set up that Hail Mary to end that first half. He got them 20, 30 yards on that drive. Now he's out. And all of a sudden now Green Bay's got to create a running game. I just don't buy it. As far
Jordy
as I know,
and Ty Montgomery are out.
As far as I know, he's not playing.
I did not hear that, but okay.
So I mean, I don't care. If he's hurt in last game, he can't finish. He's hurt in the last game, he can't finish. Dallas wins this game. Dallas has too many weapons. They're too good. Rookies aside, too much talent. Dallas wins.
Yeah, I'm going with Oz this game.
All right.
Because Oz is always right, at least in the last pick or two.
Yeah.
I think the problem is this. I don't think Green Bay can stop the run. And the Giants don't count because they have no offensive line. But as you saw when they played earlier in the season in Lambeau Field, Dallas ran the ball right down their throats. I think Dak Prescott, he gets a lot of crap for being a dink-and-dunk passer, but I think I saw something where his completion percentage past like 20, 25 yards is one of the best in the NFL. He can throw the ball deep. Green Bay has a hard time covering anybody. I think Des Bryant's going to have a huge game, and I think Dallas wins this game by 2 touchdowns. Matt?
Mike, can I throw something else in here? Can I throw something else?
No, your turn's over.
And also, I want to throw something else in before I forget it. And Green Bay's, 7-game winning streak? Name me one good offense that they've played to get that they had to beat.
Oh, you stole my thunder.
No, it's because I told you that yesterday or earlier today, and I knew you were going to use it. So there, get your own material. But I mean, if you look at it, they beat Detroit, they beat Minnesota. I mean, they beat the Giants. They're beating a bunch of teams that really have little to no offense at all. And I just think Dallas is the better team. As long as Dak Prescott doesn't crap his pants, Dallas wins. Matt?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's kind of like one of your, when you got imaginary tweets. You didn't tell me that, but you're absolutely right. They have not played an offense in 7 weeks. Dallas can score, and if you remember when they played Green Bay early in the year, Des Bryant was on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Des Bryant's playing. Here's the problem with Green Bay. Their defense is not very good. The Giants were picking them apart until drop passes happened. Now, I give Green Bay a lot of credit for showing up in the second half. They've got an offense. There's no doubt about it. But Jordy Nelson's injury is huge. Dallas is getting all of their players back at the right time. They're going to have Claiborne out there. They're going to have every pass rusher is going to be out there. Their offensive line is ginormous. I don't think Green Bay is going to have any pass rush on Dak Prescott. You talk about a perfect scenario. You get to hand the ball off to the leading rusher in the NFL. You get veteran receivers to throw to, like Cole Beasley, who's going to kill them on third downs, Terrence Williams, Jason Witten, Des Bryant. Green Bay doesn't have anybody that can cover these people.
And a very good offensive line to block for it.
That's just it. You got this offensive line. Dak Prescott's going to have all kinds of time. They're going to be at home. They're not going to give up a Hail Mary. Green Bay will not be able to run the ball. I think Dallas has the number 1 rush defense, 80 yards a game or something like that. So they're going to be one-dimensional. There's no way Green Bay wins this game. They're going to need every bit of luck to get to win this game. I don't think it's going to happen. Dallas is the better team. They're going to win this game.
Coop.
Well, since Matt went on his little expose there and used all the material in the universe, there's not much really more to say other than, hey, I will add this, okay? They beat the snot out of Green Bay in week 6 or something like that, right? 30-16.
Week 6.
And you know that was the week right after they basically spanked the Bengals into oblivion too, Mike. So I just wanted to throw that in there because that wasn't brought up.
Well, at least the Bengals didn't finish the season by getting annihilated in 4 straight games and scoring like 18 points. Well, they did beat the Raiders with Matt McGloin and Connor Cook.
So, hey, shut up. Your turn's over. Dallas is going to win it hands down.
My turn's never over.
16.
So are you picking Green Bay or Dallas?
Dallas, come on.
All right. Big Ed Cohen. I got an inkling of what I think you're going to pick.
Yeah, I'm picking my boys. I got the Cowboys here. Tyron Smith's going to be ready and all set to go. We're getting DeMarcus Lawrence back. We're getting Mo Claiborne back.
That's huge.
Oh, absolutely. When you're playing a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you need all the help, all the pass rushing, especially all the help from the secondary you can get. He's playing lights out. Like I said last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, he's my MVP of the season. I think he's the best there is. But this Cowboys offense, that Packers defense is going to have fits trying to stop the run. And I'll tell you what, I really have a strong feeling Des Bryant's going to have a big game. After the epic, the catch that wasn't a catch a few years ago, I'm expecting him to come out and make a big difference. I don't think Green Bay, talking about guys having to cover, Green Bay does not have the secondary to have to cover these Cowboy receivers, that's for sure.
All right, we'll save the best for last. Brian Schmidt.
Well, after listening to all this, as I was listening, I was looking up at my TV channel, and the one point that I want to bring up is these new Viagra commercials. They really use some really sophisticated women now. So I did want to bring that up.
They're annoying as hell, too, because they're all women you wouldn't want to do nothing with because they just lay there.
Exactly. So really, outside of that, I mean, there's nothing else that has been said here that I can disagree with. I do think that Green Bay they will. Obviously, Rodgers is going to will them to some points, but at the end of the day, I just think this Dallas team has got too many weapons. And at the end of the day, I think they're going to win this game.
So what do you think would happen if Aaron Rodgers took one of them Viagras and had one of them 4-hour erections and was running around the field? Do you think that would change the game?
Probably would not change the game.
Okay. So, all right.
I honestly hope Viagra is paying us for this spot.
They might now, because now tomorrow you're going to contact Viagra.
I can tell you what would happen if he took it. He'd go find that little tent of his.
Oh, God.
That little tent of his. You have to explain.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
What?
You don't remember that on the Monday night game where he went in that little tent on the sideline?
Oh, okay. I don't watch Monday Night Football since Howard Cosell retired.
I got it now.
What would happen in the tent?
I don't know that I want to know, but I think he would. I think he'd end up there.
I mean, there's no cheerleaders in Green. Why are there no cheerleaders in Green Bay, Matt? You're from Green Bay.
It's a great question. I
cold.
don't know. It's cold other places.
It's too cold.
It's cold in New England.
They got cheerleaders in the CFL. It's colder in Canada than it is there.
I don't know. I don't even know how I'd answer that, but
all right,
it is the truth. I don't have nothing.
My final question, this is for everybody. We'll go one more. What's your take on Odell Beckham and the way he acted this weekend?
Oh, God.
I get so sick of these guys that just are
they're babies.
Playing foo-foo football. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not even worth commenting on. Grow the hell up.
Are you telling me that because I asked the question, or are you talking about Odell Beckham?
No, I'm talking to you, actually.
I thought so. Anybody else got a comment on it?
Oh, I do. Odell Beckham, to me, as much as I wanted my Niners to draft him, I am so glad they didn't.
Well, you know what? Odell Beckham's happier than you are that the Niners didn't draft him.
You know what? When Eli Manning goes away and they don't have a quarterback, it ain't going to matter. Odell Beckham is not mentally tough in any way, shape, or form. You don't act like that. He comes out there and he drops all those passes and talk about blowing your opportunity in the big spotlight. And then to go and act like that, that's not professional in any way, shape, or form. That's terrible. And he's got a history of this. Grow up.
All right. Once again, was that towards me or Odell Beckham? All right. Let's go final words where you can promote your shows, Schmitty.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Steeler Weekly with myself and Dwight Stone. Big playoff win, getting ready for Kansas City. If we get to win in Kansas City and we get to win in New England, there will be video of me dancing in the streets. So we all want to see that.
I took a video like that one time that's on YouTube. If anybody wants to watch it, you just got to go to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, but this one here is going to be more.
It's not going to be the naked dance,
me.
Is it?
Yeah, with body glitter and stuff. So
and sponsored by Viagra.
Sponsored by, and I might even take your Viagra before. So
Viagra. All right.
Viagra. That's
right,
generic for a Viagra.
Matt.
I think. Really anything can happen other than the Texans game. I think anything can happen. The Packers could win. I think the Seahawks could win. The Chiefs could win. I think the Chiefs probably the most likely of all of those. with the best chance. But in the end, I think the best teams are going to win, and this should be a whole lot better than last week's 4 blowouts. So I look for a lot better football this week. But in the end of the day, I think we're going to see Dallas, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, New England. And as far as my Niners show last week, we had a great time wrapping up the season and had a lot of good response from Niner fans. We're going to take a little bit of time off and get right back at it for in February and March. So
yeah, me and Joe Kelly on the Bengals show have decided not to do anything. We're going to act like the season never happened.
Like Men in Black.
The whole season? Wow.
Yeah, the whole season never existed.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that approach to it. Oz, you ought to as well.
Yeah, Oz, tell us about your Los Angeles Rams show.
Well, the Rams show is on hiatus right now. We will do.
There will be one up tomorrow, the one you guys did last week.
Oh, well, there you go.
So you can tell everybody about that one.
Okay. That one's going to be up tomorrow. I've even forgotten.
Way to tell us about it.
I've even forgotten. Who is it? Is it Ron Brown? Was that the one with Ron Brown?
Oh,
I don't even remember. It was
Oz, you're killing us.
Buford McGee. That's it. That's right. We have Buford McGee on the show.
All right.
Of
well,
course.
It's a little late in the evening.
Another former teammate of Tony Hunter. He had some interesting insights, particularly on the, let's say, endangered fullback position in the NFL. Interesting discussion there. Of course, lots of talk about 80s football and how cheap the Los Angeles Rams 1.0 organization was in those days. It's a fun show. And then we'll be doing another one before the Super Bowl, which I hope will go up before the Super Bowl, if we do it before the Super Bowl, on thegruelingtruth.net. Other than that, look for my stuff on thegruelingtruth.net. Also, I want to say that my preseason pick for the Super Bowl is still alive.
So is mine. I had the Packers and the Patriots. I just hope the Packers part doesn't come true.
I've got New England versus Seattle, so that's still alive.
Oh, so you'll be done this week. It's so alive. But Big Ed Cohen, you want to tell us about the Big Star show?
Yeah, we got a really great episode this week. We got former Super Bowl champion, was a member of the 390 Super Bowl teams, mainly a special teamer. We had Clayton Holmes come on. We talked a little.
Holmes, all right.
Yeah. And very, very cool guy. Had a lot of ups and downs in his life. Overcame a lot of adversity. Rough upbringing. He tells us about his journey. Tells us some, really great stories in the 90s. And, I had a great time talking to him. Great guy. And, we talk a little Packers, Cowboys playoff game coming up, and we recap some of the other games. So great episode. Also, for all the WWF fans out there, we got a surprise episode with big Cowboy fan Jake the Snake Roberts coming out this week also.
All right. Coop, any final words?
No, I'm still in mourning out here with, the Broncos don't make the playoffs. My Bucks don't make the playoffs.
Well, if they don't get a quarterback, it may be a long time before they make it again.
Oh, we got plenty of quarterbacks. We ain't worried about that. We
got
to get a coach. Come on, Paxton will.
I heard Wade Phillips might be going to Oakland to be the defensive coordinator.
Well, no, they re-signed Norton today. That was on the wire. So
yeah,
it worries me to death. I certainly want to see Wade stay here. I love that guy. I played for him back in the North-South All-Star game back in the day. Their whole staff was our coach's bum, and Carl Mock and him and a whole bunch of guys. And we had a blast playing for them in just a week. That we had with him down there in Alabama.
So who do you think is going to be the new head coach of the Broncos?
I don't know. I like Shanahan, but Shanahan's got, his Mike Shanahan being the father of Kyle. That doesn't bode well because Elway and him didn't get along. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out here. And what like I said, what bothers me the most is that, Wade's done such a great job out here, and I really like the guy. So, that's on a personal level. But, this weekend, what I'm looking forward to is seeing the offensive line of Dallas and the offensive line of Atlanta. Those are my two favorite offensive lines in the league right now. So it's going to be kind of a fun weekend to watch those guys, do what they do best.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great game if they play the next weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But And I'm cheering for the Falcons because they've never won a Super Bowl, and I feel for teams that have never won the Super Bowl and their fans. But, all right, guys, we'll be back next week with the championship previews, and we'll have a couple special guests that used to play in the NFL. So make sure you check that out next weekend. Check out our Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They had a special episode today with Tony Hunter. They had a special guest, Bob Crable, one of the best linebackers in college football history. Actually, he got the call about 2 hours before coming on our show that he had just been inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, or voted for induction, with Peyton Manning and I think Marshall Faulk. So make sure you check out that episode. Make sure you check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. Also, new sponsor, Uncaged Exposure. Make sure you check out their website. Follow them on Twitter. You can catch all of our shows on iHeart, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Google Music, wherever you find any kind of sports podcast, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Mark Cooper, Brian Schmidt, Ed Cohen, Oz Davis, Matt Andruscavage, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth.